What's going on, people? Julian and G.K, we back!
Mm-hmm.
And this one is about the NBA season so far. So we're just going to, spit a little bit about what our thoughts are about this ongoing NBA season. So, G.K, what are your thoughts so far, man? Oh, yeah, Knicks tape.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are suffering Knicks fans.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to talk about the NBA as a whole because we're fair.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts so far about the NBA?
All right, we're 1 month in, you know what I mean? Crazy offseason,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So the games have already started. Shortened preseason. Thank you. Great for us.
Yeah.
Seems to be affecting the players a lot because a lot of these teams, I mean, a lot of them are new, but a lot of these teams they're not in shape, they're not in sync yet.
Nope.
You could see it. You know what I mean? So it actually makes the season more interesting because you can actually see the process of them
people
actually
getting better.
Yeah, people getting together and coming together, getting better, coming together, and then by the time June, April, playoffs, all that's when the real postseason starts. The more finished products.
Yeah.
So you'll actually see the growth within these players and within these teams. But injuries, bro.
Oh, that Gordon Hayward injury. Hey, God.
I will. This is what I'm gonna say about that. I feel like there were two big injuries in that 24-hour span. There was Gordon Hayward and Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin ruptured his right patella tendon.
Yeah.
So the Gordon Hayward injury is gruesome.
Yeah.
It is gruesome. However, because I know him taking it so well in the face was part of it, but I am more deeply affected by the Jeremy Lin injury because if you watch the Jeremy Lin play, it was just a routine drive. He went up for a layup. He missed the layup, and then he landed awkwardly on his knee, but nothing. Maybe because he was wearing the compression pad, you didn't see anything buckle or go a way it shouldn't, like Gordon Hayward did. But Lin hits the ground. There's no pain on his face. And then he rubs his knee like, damn, I did something wrong. But then a few seconds later, his teammates come to check on him, just to routinely pick him up. And they're like, hey, are you okay? And then once they asked him that question, you saw the pain on his face just instantly hit him. And you saw the tears just automatically start. He said, no, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. And then he just started crying. Just crying, collapsing. Boo-hooing. To me, that was harder. To me, that was harder to watch because Jeremy Lin's not an all-star player, but Jeremy Lin was one of those guys where he knew who he is and he knows how to market himself. And he's huge in Asia and other markets and bigger markets. Yeah. And this was his season. He had Brooklyn to himself. Yep. You know what I mean?
Him and D'Angelo.
Yep. He won the social media war against Kevin Martin and everybody who was trying to get on for social appropriation. If you don't know what we're talking about, look it up. He really went to Harvard. Yeah. But man, just he's damn, my this magic ride is done. I knew it was limited. I knew I was not going to be LeBron or Steph or anything. Yeah. But maybe I could be in Asia. Yeah. But damn, when he saw that, it was oh no, I'm done. It's over. Yeah. That was harder for me. I think Gordon Hayward would come back. I think the goodness of Paul George's recovery, I think, kind of makes us a lot more optimistic than previous injuries of the same magnitude and ilk. Sean Livingston. Yeah. Jeez. Oh yeah. I still have not watched that. Yeah. I still have not watched that, and I refuse to. Yeah. I don't see it. But yeah, Jeremy Lin. I hope you get well. Gordon Hayward. I know you will. Oh yeah. So and sometimes a blessing a blessing can come out of a curse. The Hayward injury happened 5 minutes into the season, which means the young Bucks had to step up. So Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are getting an accelerated education into the NBA. Yeah. So again, Boston they're ahead of schedule again. Exactly. They're doing things right. Again, they're luck of the Irishing out again, and it's fun to watch. The Western Conference is definitely the better conference, but the Eastern Conference there is some intrigue, especially with the slow ass start with Cleveland.
Exactly, and you got the Bucks on the rise. You got the Pistons surprising the hell out of people and looking like a competent unit. You got the Magic with Gordon playing out of his mind. You got Indiana with Oladipo looking like the player that people thought he was going to be. He's averaging 24 a game. So you have all these young guys, and I feel like the Western Conference is the conference of the established guys, the guys that are already perennial all-stars. You got Steph, you got Clay, you got KD, you got Jimmy Butler out there. You got all these guys out there that are like, really established people that are great. But in the East, you got all these young guys that are just coming for it. You got Porzingis. You got like Giannis. You got all these guys that are like on the come up, and they like want to make a name for themselves. So I think the East is like the conference of the future, and the West is the conference of the present. But it's been really entertaining so far this year with like all the different moves that came the offseason, seeing how it's come together, seeing how the T-Wolves are playing, like seeing like Andrew Wiggins making that next step and like the effect that Butler's having on them. Like, and it looks like they're really gelling well together. Like the Knicks are they started slow, but they're starting to gel together well, and you can see like the type of well, I know you've been here before, so you're not going to fall for the trap, and neither am I. But I do think that the type of play that they're doing is promising. They're passing the ball more. They're like this is definitely Porzingis' team. There's no like if, ands, or but about it. The dude's had like 30-plus points in like all of his games except one so far this season. He's killing it. So it's like I think the Knicks are on the right track. It's not going to be this year. It might not be next year, but they're getting to that level. Giannis is on another level. Like I don't think I've seen like someone that dominant since like LeBron and like when he first went to Miami. He's just like killing guys out there, and it's just been a really entertaining season so far, and I'm looking forward. Like I like the unpredictability that this season has brought. You've seen Golden State stumble, but like when we were talking earlier, we said like we feel like Golden State, they're just kind of chilling right now. They're like on like cruise control. They're like, we're the champions. We know we can turn it on anytime we want to and like dismantle teams. So that's why I think they've let a couple of games go early. But I think they just know as long as we get that 1 seed or even the 2 seed, we're going to be fine. So we don't have to like go all out like from the beginning of the season. And but there's so many other teams like the Thunder are intriguing. Houston's going to be intriguing when Chris Paul comes back. Like there's so many good teams or teams that have potential and teams that are surprising, like the Pistons, like the Magic, that it makes every game interesting. Like last year and some of the other years, I felt like there were a lot of games that were just skippable because you knew that one team was just vastly inferior. But I think this year, a lot of teams, even if they're inferior, they're playing their hearts out, and it's making the games interesting. That's why you've seen a lot of these games with like teams like Cleveland or whatever that are like powerhouses, and they're facing these younger teams like that are like really scrapping. Even the Suns started 0-3, and they've like won like the last 4 out of their 5 games. No team can be taken for granted now.
Well, I mean, you couldn't take teams for granted anyway. I think what's going on right now is there are teams like the Warriors who are already established. They've already been together for multiple years, so they already know what's up. They already know the drill. But most of these teams are thrown together for just 1 year or two, just hoping for a puncher's chance to knock Golden State off their block, because Golden State, they changed the game and they saw it coming miles away. So all these other teams are realizing, oh damn, you can be a jump shooting team and win. When did that change? And you can't just change your whole roster and team philosophy and infrastructure overnight. It takes a few seasons. But you can't just let Golden State just have championships every year, at least not theoretically. So that's why OKC did what they did. That's why Houston did what they did. That's why Minnesota's doing what they're doing. It is what it is. And if you can't do that, if you can't just load up to contend now, you build for the future. No one's doing a better job of that than Boston.
Oh yeah.
But give LA some credit. Mm-hmm. Both teams. Give the Clippers credit. Yeah. Blake Griffin, I saw you in college. You know what I mean? Like you were light skinned and killing it then, but now you are light skinned and killing it in a different way now. I give you you know how to play basketball now. Yeah. You're not just all athleticism and energy anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's not a knock on you at all. That's what most young stars do. Yeah. You don't have the patience, and you don't want to risk not being good right away. Like you have to hit the ground running. So what do you use as your automatic advantage? Your athleticism, your youth. Like that's what Dennis Smith Jr. is trying to do. He'll probably learn how to play later, hopefully. But right now he's on like that Steve Francis track. But yeah, I give the Clippers credit. Blake Griffin, keep MVP liking it up. Yeah. The Lakers, you are so much fun. Yeah. Why do I keep saying you like you watched this? Sorry. The Lakers are so much fun. The Lakers are so much fun. Like Lonzo has been fun, but Kyle Kuzma, oh yeah, dude, you are fun. Yes. Like Brook Lopez shooting threes, you are fun. Yeah. Larry Nance, Julius Randle, y'all don't make no sense. But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I don't get it. Yeah. But you are. But like the whole thing is, it's just fun. Yeah. It's just a lot of fun. And Luke Walton just looks like a fun coach to play for. Yeah. But all these teams have at least one guy that you want to watch. You know what I mean? Grizzlies, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, I still watch them.
Yep.
Sacramento, I love De'Aaron Fox, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll watch that dude. I'll watch that dude all day, every day.
Yep.
Orlando, like you said, Aaron Gordon has learned how to play basketball out of nowhere.
Exactly.
And that's what we were talking about before. Like, give some of these players credit. Give some of these players credit for knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses to a point where, because no one's going to be, this is not 2K. No one's going to be a 10 out of 10 in everything. No one's going to get a 100 rating, right? No. So you might as well just be a 10 in the few things that you can be, that the things that your body will physically allow, and then just like leave the other things to be 6 or 7s. And then, like, you know, if you can get them up to 8s, great. You know what I mean? Andre Drummond. Historically, he is the worst free throw shooter in NBA history. 35%. That's a fact.
Yeah.
He played a game last night. He made 14 of 16.
Yeah.
That's improvement.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon is shooting threes. That is an improvement. Even guys who are already stars but want to take the game to the next level. DeMarcus Cousins shoots 7 threes a game. He makes at least 3. That's improvement. Yeah. All right. Kristaps Porzingis, that Eurobasket tournament over the summer helped you out. And going to the weight room. I'll admit, I was laughing at all your workout. Why am I saying you? What am I doing? Like, yeah, we're not cool like that. Like, I just joined Instagram. Like, I'm not at that level yet. But no, come on. You watched his videos. Yeah. My man was doing assisted pull-ups. Like he had one of his brothers on each leg, like pulling him up because he couldn't do it. Like, yeah, I was laughing at those at first. But I'm like, that's smart. That's the build. Like, he did bulk up. He was only 21 years old. Yeah. So like, yeah, you can put up muscle that easily when you're 20. Yep. But remember the name Luka Doncic, because you can look it up on YouTube. When Latvia played, was he Slovenia? Yeah. Luka is only 19 years old. He's projected to be the number 1 pick in next year's draft. So hopefully we get him. Fourth quarter. Porzingis was the best player in the tournament, right? But fourth quarter, when they played, this kid, Luka Doncic, lit Porzingis up in the fourth quarter, and he was happy about it. He was talking trash in multiple languages to him. And trust me, Kristaps understood all of them. Yep. And I'm telling you, man, like, that's the future. This positionless basketball, that is, it's not the future anymore. It's the present. So like all these teams with old school mentalities have to catch up. That's why I'm high on Houston, but I'm worried because Chris Paul is an old school point guard. Now, the D'Antoni system has always been futuristic, but it's always been dependent on a ball-dominant point guard. Yeah. So if you move James Harden off the ball, you add Chris Paul to it, like Chris Paul's already past 30. And you can't teach old dogs new tricks. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like if you played one way and already made you a Hall of Famer, you're not going to change now. Nope. So especially if you're a ball dominant, especially if you're a ball distributor. Like Melo is different. Melo doesn't bring up the ball. So Melo doesn't dictate when he gets the ball. So he can be Team USA Melo. He can be Hoodie Melo and let Russ and Paul George create for him, and then he can just do his thing. Yeah. That's fine. That's why I have more faith in them than I do Houston to give OKC a run for their money. I mean, to give Golden State a run for their money. And Kawhi Leonard's still out, and you can never count the Spurs out. Yeah, so we're only 1 month in. Most of these hot start teams will fall off. Yeah. Most of these older players who found the fountain of youth, that'll run out. Yeah. That'll run out by Christmas. Yeah. Like, it's just bound to happen.
Except LeBron, who's a freak of nature.
I'm telling, like I've never seen LeBron look this big. Now, is it because he said he's self-admittedly out of shape because he had that bad ankle sprain during that short training camp, or is it because of these Nike uniforms that keep tearing when you sneeze?
Yes. To make out of paper mache.
Yeah, yes. So I don't know which one it is. But let's get back to these damn Knicks. Now, lifelong Knick fan. I'm not gonna tell you how long I've lived because we're still trying to get followers here.
Yeah, exactly.
But I cried every May or June from 1991 to 2000. I cried at the end of every one. Heartbreaking, right? Yeah. When I did my co-star for the NBC show The Mysteries of Laura a couple years ago, it's still out there.
Yeah,
and I did that scene with Laz Alonso and Kenny Smith and da. Yeah, I mean, I'm name dropping for a point. Yeah. So Kenny Smith, I was there from 5:30 in the morning, right? Kenny Smith didn't have to be there till like 5:30 p.m., right? So, and they sent the car for him. I don't know. I forgot how I even got there. So I did scenes with Laz Alonso, and we're back in the green room, which is the fancy term for the back where actors chill and eat and whatever. So we were all talking. We were all trying to figure out, like, what do we have in common, how to get along, like, to make this day move. And then we started talking about basketball. And I started talking about the Knicks. And we started talking about the 94 NBA Finals because Kenny Smith was coming. And the 1994 NBA Finals were Kenny Smith's Houston Rockets versus my New York Knicks. Yes. The same New York Knicks where the Game 7 that put them in the finals, I was there. So, and I was so charged up for this. My family had planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. So that was the plan. Like, my mom spent months planning this. And this was like an extended family vacation. So tickets were bought. Everything was set up. Boom. But then she got me into this game, and then they won. So then school is over, and it's time to fly to Italy. I'm like, Mom, are you crazy? I can't go to Italy. I need to watch these games. Yes. I can't go. And she's like, any normal parent would be like, are you stupid? I paid for these. No. But my mom, she knew me. She knows. And she's like,
that's what your mom's awesome.
You're a Knicks fan. Like, yes. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You can stay. So I pretty much hitchhiked for like 2 weeks. And I stayed in 4 different houses for the next 2 weeks just so I could watch these games. And long story short, they lost. They lost in 7 games. They were up 3-2 and they lost. So I told that story in the green room to Laz Alonso and them, and they were like, wow, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. So then Kenny Smith finally comes in with his entourage, and like, very, very cool, very charming dude, like, like he's getting everybody dapped, But then Laz tries to test me, talking about, hey, GK, wasn't this something you said you was going to tell Kenny Smith when he came here? And then he did that to like I wouldn't. Yeah. So then I went to Kenny, he's like, yo, Kenny, man, GK, I want to rap with you for a second, bro. He's like, okay, go ahead. He's like, I still haven't been to Italy because of you, man. And then, like, because he's a public figure, like, Kenny was like, okay. Of course, because why would he know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then, I'll give him credit. He let me rant for like 7 minutes straight about how I told him how I couldn't go on the trip because I had to watch them in the finals, and how I told him to his face, your team was not better than my team. It wasn't. Like, yeah, y'all won the series, but he let me go. He didn't interrupt me at all. Yeah. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, we were up 3-2 on y'all. Mm-hmm. And then he let me get that far. And he's like, yeah, but then we had home court advantage. We had a king. And this was his basketball analysis, right? He's like, let me break it down for him. I'm like, okay, he's about to inside the NBA me on this. Like, I want to hear the inside scoop on this. I want to hear the X's and O's on this. And he's like, look, man. He's like, all right, it's like, it's like women. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you bring your girl to the club, you know what I mean? She gets took. Sometimes you just got to get your girl took. And that was how Kenny Smith explained to me how the Knicks blew a 3-2 lead in the NBA Finals to them. True story. True story, I kid you not. And then we talked about the whole OJ Bronco chase at Game 5, and that's like how we all like came together. Yes. Because everybody remembers where they were during that time.
That was crazy time.
But yeah, but that's how much of a Knicks fan that I am. Like, that's how far back it goes. It goes back even further than that. Yeah. And we are irrational fans. Like, we don't care. Every year, playoffs. Yeah. Every year. If we just make the playoffs, we have a chance. And we can make the playoffs because because we just got this dude from Easter Island, and and he can shoot free throws lefty. And I'm telling you, once we put him in, we'll do that. Yes. We'll do that.
We're very irrational fans.
Right. But the beauty of this year is, and especially after we traded Carmelo Anthony, we have nothing, bro. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel like, to know that for the entire season we're just going to be whack? There's no expectations at all because we actually have a plan for the future. Yes. A plan that actually makes sense. Exactly. We actually have a future. Yes. So we can, for the first time in over 30 years, we can finally let go of the president and be like, yeah, you can beat up on us.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
We're good.
Go ahead. We're good. Yeah. We're good. We coming at you later.
We know what's coming.
Exactly. We coming at you later.
We got a franchise player.
Exactly.
And we got more coming.
Exactly. Yeah. But as real New Yorkers, all right, let's be real. Kristaps, love this dude. Yeah. Phil, you don't get credit for him. No. He fell into your lap. He wanted to come to New York, whether you were there or not. You get no. Why am I saying you? Actually, I'll say you.
You, Phil.
Yeah. Come on, I'm a real Knicks fan, bro. but all right, let's be real though. Mm-hmm. Love him. Yeah. I think the ceiling is the roof. Yeah. For him. Yeah. But or the roof is the ceiling, whatever Jordan said. But do you see Kristaps Porzingis? All right, he hasn't even been an All-Star yet. He will be this year without question. And this is going to be the worst All-Star game ever. but it's going to be so one-sided, it's not even funny. Yeah. But do you see Kristaps as the dude that he can lead you to the chip if he's your number one guy.
Yeah. The same way that, like, Dirk led the Mavs a couple of years ago when he was the number one guy. Because Kristaps is Dirk.
That's the hope.
But Kristaps is eventually going to be Dirk, but with, like, he can dribble and, like, create his own shot.
Do you see him as being an MVP of the league? That's the real question. Because if you don't see him as being an MVP of the league, he can't be the number one guy to lead you to the championship. And that's not to knock him. He needs help, and that help will come. But I'm saying, like,
if we lived in a world without Giannis and without Karl Anthony Towns, I could see him being MVP. But I still think those two are better than Porzingis. So I think right now, out of, like, the young guys, like, that are coming up, I think the top 4 young guys, like, and by young guys I mean like 23 and younger, I think it goes Giannis is 1, Karl Anthony Towns, then Kristaps, and then Devin Booker. Like, I think those are the 4 guys that are going to be perennial all-stars and going to be, like, in the finals, like, almost every year. Like, so I think those are the guys of the future. So I think Kristaps can lead the Knicks to a championship if he has sufficient help. Because we were talking about this earlier. When Patrick Ewing came, Patrick Ewing is one of the greatest centers of all time. And a lot of people give him crap for the Knicks not winning. But if you look at the rosters that Patrick Ewing had, it is a miracle that he was always competitive every year with those rosters when he was facing Jordan, Pippen, Barkley, like all these like Hall of Fame players, and his best players were like John Starks, Anthony Mason, guys who were like second round picks, or like John Starks who was bagging groceries one day and then he's playing in the NBA the next. Like Patrick Ewing had zero help, and he made the best of what he had, whereas some guys wouldn't have even gone half as far with the roster that he had. So if Kristaps falls victim to that, where he has guys who are like okay players but not really transcendent, especially in today's NBA when every team has like 2 or 3 or 4 all-stars, there's no way that he's going to go anywhere. But if they get him another all-star caliber player and surround him with a lot of role players who know their role and do it well, whether it be a knockdown shooter, whether it be a defender, whether it be a slasher, whatever, they do their role well, and he has another all-star or 2 to go along with him, I think he can take the Knicks to the promised land finally.
Yeah, but also remember, Melo had all-stars in Mark Stoudemire, Tyson Chandler, and like that. It's a different league now. Yeah. I mean, Golden State's sitting pretty on top because they have 4 all-stars. Yeah. So 2 of them are MVPs. Yeah. So it's different now. But like Knicks fans, we're gonna be real. Mm-hmm. If you buy NBA 2K and you're like, wow, why are the '94 Knicks like only like an 89 overall? Because it's the truth.
Because they weren't.
Because they weren't like it was an all-time great era for us. Yeah. But those were not all-time talented teams. No. And if you watch these NBA TV like open court things where Charles, Kenny, Shaq, Dominique, Isaiah, all of them do like the round table panel discussions. Whenever they talk about the Knicks of the '90s, they say the same things. They say, first of all, I'm glad that people like Kenny Smith and even Reggie Miller acknowledge that out of all the Hall of Fame players, Patrick Ewing was the only one that didn't have a Hall of Fame teammate. Yeah. Right? Which is true. Yeah, right? True. Also on top of it, and Pat Riley's kind of to blame for this. Pat Riley gets the credit for making them like an old school, grind out team. Yeah. A defensive team. Mm-hmm. Because he knew he didn't have that much talent. Yeah. But at the flip side, the offense was just way too predictable. Give it into Pat, he'll pound it, and then hopefully he'll kick it out. Mm-hmm. They had no real offense, or at least not an offense that flowed. I don't know if any of them said it, but I think maybe one of them said it. But if they were smart or at least progressive, you would have ran the offense through Anthony Mason because he was the best ball handler and you couldn't guard him. Yeah, he was 6'8" and brolic. Yep. You know what I mean? It's like that could have been LeBron before LeBron. Yep. If they thought that through. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ewing didn't have the help. When he finally got to Larry Johnson, bad back Larry Johnson, Allen Houston, Ewing was already past his prime. Yeah. And Anthony Mason, he literally came from the New York City playgrounds. Yeah. You know what I mean? Starks wasn't even supposed to be in the league. Starks, that's why New Yorkers love Starks. He's the classic overachiever. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere story. But he was still 6'2". He wasn't going to stop Jordan. No. He was not a Jordan stopper. No. You know what I mean? And look at our point guard situation. His best point guard was Mark Jackson. Pat Riley didn't like him. We got rid of him. And we got Charles Smith. And I'm not going to knock Charles Smith because I grew up in New Rochelle, all right, where besides Ray Rice, our other claim to fame would be Al's Barbershop. Shout out to Al's because a lot of the the Knicks and Yankees, they live in Westchester in the Connecticut area. So they would either be brave, come down to the hood and get their hair cut in Al's, or they would pay my man Corey to have him drive up to their cribs and cut their hair there. Mm-hmm. So Charles Smith would come in, and brave man. brave man. So like if you had it in you to come down to the hood and get your hair cut, I can't knock you. So Charles Smith, cool. Rolando Blackman, cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know, thank you for your service. But, you know, by the time we got these guys, Doc Rivers, by the time we got these, they weren't in their primes, and they weren't even all-stars. Mm-hmm. So, like, how are you going to beat Jordan and Pippen? How are you going to beat Stockton and Malone if they got that far? How are you going to beat even Barkley and Kevin Johnson? You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't going to happen. Yeah. So, you know, like, I'm not a Ewing apologist, but because Ewing is my man, like, come on, Jamaican Alpha.
Yes.
Come on, man! Like,
that's our guy.
And good luck at Georgetown, man. Like, I'm rooting for you as if I went to Georgetown. Yeah. But this started as an NBA thing. This is really a Knicks thing. Like Knicks fans, stand up, man. Like, and like if you get frustrated this season, don't worry, man. Yeah. Like, you know, keep your head up. Ooh, child, things are gonna get. I'm telling you, we have a future. I'm telling you. And if we get this kid Luka Doncic,
oh my God,
remember this. Remember this.
If we get Luka, the chip is coming. If we get Luka, it's coming because that kid is a problem. Him and Kristaps together, it's over.
Yep. But it's a great season so far. Yeah. Philly, I told you about Ben Simmons, man.
Yeah, Ben Simmons.
I told you, worth the wait, man. I don't know what they do with Markelle Fultz. Like you are the team that's built your process on drafting number 1, number 2, number 3 picks, and then sitting them for hangnails and like ingrown hairs for whole seasons. And then you get Markelle Fultz, and then
the kid can't shoot.
Dude can't even, like, you scouted him, right? Like, you realized that he became a number 1 pick because he could at least raise his arm above this way. Yes. But then, like, you just throw him out there, like, knowing that he can't shoot. And he's only 19 years old, bro. Like, why are you mess him up like that?
Exactly. Just sit him for the year. Let him get better.
Or however long it takes. Yeah. So I don't know what they doing, but Ben Simmons, man, oh my God, Embiid, you are still the social media MVP. Yes, my dude. Like keep talking that trash and doing your thing.
I hope he gets that date with Rihanna.
Yep. Oh man, yo.
Keep hope alive.
Oh, he's still thirsting.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Yep. Have you seen Rihanna? Thick Rihanna? Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Anyhow. But yeah,
that's the NBA after 1 month, guys.
And we will check back with other thoughts about the NBA in future, these webisodes. I guess they call them. I don't know what they call them. Like, what are these? Like YouTube clips? I don't know. We're old, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But also check out one. We did one about WWE, about the recent releases. We're also doing one about music. So check those videos out too. And Jamaica Alpha is.
We'll be back later also with our end of the year awards, the Jammies. Let me explain that one more time. So it's our prestigious end of the year awards that we give out. And we're going to be doing a special Jammies for sports and entertainment. So we're going to be going through all this and recapping 2017 as a whole. So you don't want to miss that. But in the meantime, find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes, and wherever Jamaican New Yorkers are sold. Yeah. All right. That was kind of racist at the end. But you know what I mean? Hashtag American history. But yeah. All right. But until then, Jamaican Alpha out.